7, by the way, of the Life Purpose course, and I don't know if others will be joining us, but it's good to see Pauline and Margaret as we go into the polarities, exploring that, which is always profound and revelatory. Um, were there any just general comments or questions about those polarities? I'll just pull up the handout too, the main ones that we're looking at. We can explore it. Um,
It feels like a very deep process.
it, it, it
I don't
is.
have much confidence, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, Carl Jung said like the masculine and feminine was a deeper level than the shadow in the way he understood things.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Hmm.
masculine and feminine is very important and profound. And there's the other polarities as well. Let me pull them up the handout, and hopefully you have it handy. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the different polarities, which are reflected in the body, the masculine and feminine, the two halves of the body, the spiritual and the earthly, which is the uh, top of the body, and then the bottom of the body, torso and limbs, which is the inner and outer. The torso would be the inner, outer would be the limbs, and past and future. Front is your future, back of your body is the past, and there's also the mind and the body, which is a little different than the spiritual and the earthly. There, and there's some there, the head and the body there, uh, mind, body. Um, so we will explore one of them at least with ourselves here, and the different parts of ourselves which are affecting us
Yeah,
unconsciously.
very
Um,
exciting. I think they're a wonderful kind of explorative journey.
it
All,
is
all of them, every pair,
right. Yeah,
What
and
kind of
so if you have
possibilities?
an issue, they say if you have an issue with your health or with a relationship, it could affect any of them or all of them or some of them more than others. And sometimes there's different pathways to get to the same uh, awareness, increased awareness. So we could start with a general polarity reading, or we could take something that's up and view it from the lens of the polarities, how they're playing out in this that are affecting you. Does anyone have something that's particularly up that you'd like to look at? And it could be something small, doesn't have to be life shattering.
I mean, I'm always up for something about my health. However, I was going to just say, I'm, if you'd like to do muscle testing and just see where you end up, I'll be happy to go with that too, instead of trying to take on something big.
Well, we might have time for two of them because of our situation. So why don't we take something that's actually up, and then we'll do a muscle testing for a second one with you or Pauline, because you mentioned your health.
Yeah, it's still, everything's unclear as to
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of testing showing things, but not pointing to a firm diagnosis. So we're sort of like in a whack-a-mole phase.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What are the symptoms?
um, oh boy. Okay. So, uh, very on and off, very bad headaches on the left side of my head,
Mm-hmm.
and then accompanying that will be, even without the pain, I'll get this very disassociative feeling, like I'm not in my brain. And that happens in the middle of the day. And usually by the end of the day, I'm feeling better. So it's very cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, wake up feeling one way,
Mm-hmm.
a few hours later, I'm feeling completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And
It
then,
sounds like some things might be going on toward the end of the night and during the sleep too.
oh, I'm not sleeping. The only way I'm sleeping now is by medicating myself. If I leave it, if I don't do medication like Benadryl, then I sleep for like 3 hours and then I'm awake and that's it, and I can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're doing now is, forcing myself to sleep.
Right.
It's-
Did you try melatonin?
I actually bought some recently, Philip, but I'm not able to take it yet. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to do
Yeah,
some
because of your other
exercise.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another option. I tend to use that.
And
I-
I would really prefer to be using it, to be honest with you, because I'm certain that that's where the breakdown is.
Well,
and it would be more
one
natural.
thing before we go into it, just as a real kind of primary health thing, and I don't know if you're aware of this and you do this, is do you get regular sunlight every day?
I do try to do that, yes. I go out for a walk every single day at the peak of, for right now.
Yeah,
like,
it's
time
kind
is
of tough with
tough.
your latitude and the time of year.
Yeah. But I got into the habit of spending quite a bit of time outside in the sun and grounding myself during the
Good.
summer.
Did that help?
No,
Okay.
no, this has been going on since the middle of August, and like right now I'm not too bad, but
Mhm.
4 hours ago I was a wreck.
Oh, I see. So it goes up and down throughout the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So in just because we'd like to do a measurement, a before and after, um, what would be the things that we can measure now that are variables that you want to improve?
You mean right in the moment?
Yeah, just general things because we're
Yeah.
tracking where you are now and what the range
Okay.
is.
Yeah, right now, I am a little bit disassociated, so I would say I'm about a 4 in that department.
For
So
disassociated, is disassociated kind of spacey or
yeah,
what?
it feels like I'm not within my body.
Ungrounded. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. And you mentioned the headache. Was that it or other things or?
Right now, I could also add to that I have some numbing in my face, and that's about a 3.
Hmm. Okay. So those are the two symptoms. Any other
Those are the
symptoms?
2 biggest ones right now.
Okay. Well, that
Yeah.
would be sufficient. Okay. And so it's 4 and 3 now. You said it tends to get better toward the end of the day generally. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah,
So is this typical now?
yeah.
Is there a typical?
This is probably about what I would be experiencing around this time. Again, a
Yeah.
few hours ago, it would have been a very different story.
And then uh, when it's more at its peak, what are the numbers at its peak when?
When I'm really disassociated, I
Mm.
would say it's an 8. I mean, I can't even have conversations sometimes, Philip.
Okay.
I can't. I cannot listen to somebody. It's like somebody's talking at me, but I
Uh-huh.
cannot tell you what they're saying.
Right.
I can't, have a decent conversation back. And the pain and the numbing in the middle of the day would also be a good 8.
Yeah. Gotcha. So that would be something that we can, if you notice anything and you have a thought tomorrow, shoot me an email. I'm just curious as a result of
Yeah,
what we're about to do, see where we go. So,
Okay.
I think any of the polarities could be very useful to look at. And I'm going to start with you. I can also then just muscle test one of them
Mhm.
as well. Do you have one that is coming up for you?
Well, it's the spiritual earthly one was coming up for me Tuesday when we were talking about these. But I don't know if that's just because of what I'm hoping to have happen. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I might just trust you to do muscle testing.
Okay.
And see where
So
you're
I'm
coming.
the focus statement I'm going to say for Margaret is which one would be a priority for her health polarity to focus in on. Is it masculine and feminine? I'm doing my muscle testing again with the finger. If it goes weak, it's a no. Masculine, feminine, spiritual, earthly, inner, outer, past, future. Past, future. Let me just double check that was strong. Let me see. Mind, body. I keep getting past, future. That's just what I'm getting, but
It resonated when you said it, Philip.
yeah, okay. So the
Yeah.
past, future is
Mhm.
part of you has a view of the past, and part of you has a view of the future, and they show up in the present, of course. And so when there's
Yeah.
imbalances, that can
It-
throw things off.
That would
That-
make sense too.
The past is your backside in your body,
Hmm,
and the future is your front side if it's sliced down the middle, so to speak.
okay.
So now we'll interview the parts, the aspects, and also bring in the soul part, soul awareness, the bridge, and make suggestions. Okay.
Sounds good.
So you can just find yourself in a relaxed place. If you need to make any adjustments, relaxing your body more and more. Very good. And as you become more and more relaxed, Margaret, you're going to be getting a sense of two different sides of your body, and which represent the past and the future. And if you want to move your position, you can. If you'd like to move to the past, which is your backside, you can move, or not if you don't have to. If you want, if that helps you, you can. But as
I
you
will-
focus on, go ahead.
I was gonna say I will, because I'm feeling pulled to the left side from my past.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes, as we said, you can just move your body physically to help get into these different polarities. So if you move your body that one way to connect with your past, and your past might be a sense and energy and awareness, it may be a visual, a sound, a word, or a combination, something else. As you're getting a sense of your past, what's coming up for you?
What was very interesting is, as soon as I turned to the left, I felt like myself just start to crumble, become sort of weak.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And what's weakening it?
It's
Why
weakening.
why does it feel weak? What is weakening it? What does it say?
Why is it weakening? Hmm.
What's causing it to be so weak? What does it need? What does
Yeah.
it want?
Well,
What's it expressing to you? What's it
something I'm
saying?
lacking. I'm lacking something.
You're
Um,
lacking.
Yeah.
So the
Um,
past is lacking. And there
well,
might be an image or a reminder of something. Go ahead.
the word security came into my mind when I asked the question.
Hmm.
What is it lacking? And it was security. And I'm feeling, it's like immediately I was trying to ground myself when I heard that. And
Yes.
I feel like it's just like, I can't get my energy into the earth. It's just sort of wavering out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I'm just caving in on myself. I feel very
Yeah.
small. I
Yeah.
might even be experiencing a sensation of being much younger,
How young?
like young, like, oh gosh, like 5 or 6.
What's going on at that point?
I feel very insecure. I feel alone and insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Like I'm in a I don't think that this is a true thing that happened. Because I'm feeling like I'm in a cave, a black space, not able to not something from this life anyway. I
Yeah.
don't believe that I ever was in a cave when I was 5 or 6
Yeah.
years old, but
It
I'm
might
feeling that
link
way
that. And
now.
how did you end up in that cave? What got you into that cave?
I think well, the idea of left there is coming to me.
Someone left you in a cave,
Yeah, I was left there.
abandoned by.
I don't think I was abandoned.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
was, I think I think I was left there because they thought it would be safe.
Oh,
but
as a way of being safe, of
yeah, but
protecting
I'm
you. Okay.
alone. Yeah,
but you're alone.
but I'm
Okay.
alone and I'm scared.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you're being left alone to be. So one, you need protection, but you're left alone at a young age. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
mean,
right.
it's like pitch black. I can't see my hand in front of my face, scared.
Very
Yeah.
black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we go to the future? We'll come back to this. Anything else you
Yeah.
want to note on that? That feels like we got a snapshot of something there.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think there's anything else for me to experience there, really. I just feel, I mean, in that space, I am just completely consumed with the idea that I'm all alone by myself, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I would even say the word terrified is coming into, I
Sure.
don't feel safe at all.
Right. Okay. All right. So switching in the opposite direction to head toward the future.
So different.
Future is different from the past.
Yeah, yeah,
What
very.
what's coming to mind in the
I mean,
future?
halfway here, it was like the light went on, you know? It's bright. It's very bright where I am now, complete opposite from where I was.
Yeah.
And I mean, my body feels stronger.
Hmm.
I feel I feel like my back is nice and straight. I can actually see. As soon as I said that, I feel my back straight.
Hmm.
I could see like a shot of energy coming down my spine and going into the earth. So I'm very grounded. And it just feels, I feel safe. I feel completely different than what I did
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
2 seconds ago.
That it really is different. Yeah. So
Wow.
so connect, turning to the center to connect
Oof.
with your soul,
Hmm.
opening up to the soul's beauty and support, and trust and courage from the soul, that tenderness and that power from your soul, that
Hmm.
loving power of the soul. And as you're connecting with that, let me know what you're experiencing, Margaret. And you may, if you want to go to the mystical mountaintop, you can, or just wherever your soul wants to come to you today.
Yeah. Um, Sitting in the middle, I'm very much aware of the light and the dark sides of me,
Hmm.
but you know, very clearly like defined. And what I'm feeling I need to do is make, instead of having this line down the middle of me, which is black and white or
Hmm.
dark and light,
Hmm.
I need to blur this and make it,
Hmm.
you know, like,
Integrate.
and yeah, yeah, uh, okay, so I am going up to my place in the clouds, my special place. So I'm there, and but it's funny because I'm not fully there. The darker part of me is sort of like lagging behind.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
but okay, my paintbrush, my magical paintbrush showed up,
Hmm.
and I need to use that to blur these lines to
Okay.
you know, like watercolor it
Hmm.
and make them merge together.
So the future's strength can go back to the past and help
Yeah,
that past part feel secure.
to make it safe so I can ground and
Mm.
and feel safe. Yeah, so I'm doing that. I'm lightening up this side. So now there's like more gray. I'm half gray and half dark on
Hmm.
the past.
Hmm.
And I'm actually hearing some music over here somewhere. Um so I'm slowly pushing that out, pushing the dark away. Um hmm. Boy, it's tough to get it all gone though.
Yeah, well, it's going at its own rate, probably. Is the soul want
Yeah.
to suggest anything else, or any higher guides or angels or any other suggestions or resources there?
There's something about the music. I think I need to be listening to music that elevates my vibration.
Mm-hmm. Do you
I
have
mean,
a sense of what that music is, or how to access this, or what music we're talking about?
um it might be like a choir, like
Mm-hmm.
it might even be angelic sort of
Yeah.
Gregorian chant, or that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But
Religious kind of
yeah,
choirs.
yeah, very hot, the stuff that makes you feel like glory. you know
Yeah.
um,
Right.
yeah, I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
resource for me. I think that
Yeah.
that's what it's
That's
basically
powerful.
for. Yeah, because I can't seem to quite get all of this darkness gone. It's like maybe a third, no, less than that, a quarter of this half of me is still sort of like the tip of my knee, and the shoulder is still in dark. But the rest of it is sort of gone to a gray or very bright in the middle. Like, it's beautiful gradation of light to dark happening, but that's the artist in me seeing that. But
Mm-hmm.
hmm, yeah, I need to just um find a way to bring that light all the way over so that I can feel safe and not in that dark place anymore.
And is there a message or an insight to help you with the further integration?
This wasn't mine. This was something that not from this life, definitely clarity on
Mm-hmm.
that. And but it's something that I've carried for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Family's carried, I think. I think it's been a ancestral thing.
So it's an ancestral
Yeah,
dysfunction pattern. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So you're healing your ancestors as well here through this.
Hmm. Yeah. And there is an angel with me now, in the up in my clouded place in the clouds, and huge hands, um and putting his hand on my shoulder, and just sort of light coming down his hand, going into my body on the right side, on the future side. And the sense is that this light is here to help me clear this, that he's providing me with.
The angel's providing a special light for you,
Yeah, yeah.
along with the music.
And the music is actually coming from around him. Yeah, it's like there's
Okay.
a choir out there somewhere singing.
Heavenly music and light, sound and light.
Yeah, which are two things that I tend to gravitate towards for healing anyway, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. It's
Okay.
gonna take a little bit of time to finish it, though. I can tell that, Philip.
Yeah, there may be some time. Okay.
Yeah.
So shall we check back in, go back to the part in the past and see how it's doing? I know you're sort of
Okay.
getting a sense of it all at once.
Yeah.
Maybe just turn back to that part to embody
Yeah.
the past part and see where it is.
Hmm. Um, it's definitely not as physically crushing as it was when I turned the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I'm completely. I felt like I was all in a ball the last time. I'm very much aware of this line of darkness that's still like just on the outside edge of my left side.
Mm-hmm.
That is still black. It hasn't, but I'm also very much aware of all this being gray.
So that's maybe, a very small percentage of what was totally black before. Am I accurate in that? Is that
Oh, yeah, because it was
okay?
half and half before. Well, no, when I turned to the left last time, I was completely dark.
You were pitch black. Now you have like
Yeah.
a small percentage,
Like
10% or
I
whatever.
would say 5/6 of me is 1/6 of me is still black.
Okay,
the rest is either,
15% or so, whatever.
yeah, bright
Yeah.
white or
So
the
we're still
gray.
working on the finishing touches.
Yeah.
Okay. And how's the pet? Does the past want to say anything or express anything at this point to you besides just the picture you got?
Well, it's calmer. So there isn't that feeling of complete terror, but still feels alone. But I have this real sense that we're talking about a young child. So I don't think that um I don't think I know how to feel
Hmm.
just yet, because there's still a little of this here, and that is worrying me as
Yeah.
a
Well,
small
we'll
child. But
check back
yeah,
in a moment with the soul just to get some messages maybe for the child.
yeah. Hmm.
Okay. You want to turn to the future, see where that is now? That was already strong, but just see
That's yeah. It's
what's
still
going on.
it's
And if
actually
it
happy. It's I feel a bit happier because
happier. Hmm.
yeah, because there's because they've been able to share this light.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, actually very happy.
Brighter. Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it was strong before, but now
Hmm.
it feels better because I've been able to move that light into this part of me that needed it.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay. So excellent. So coming back into the center, should we hear from the soul one more time just to get just since any messages to the child who uh, was concerned
Um,
about being alone?
I feel like the only thing I can really do is hold the child
Okay.
and just comfort her that way, because I don't think words are going to really
Yeah.
do it,
We want to do that now. Imagine, sense,
Yeah.
sometimes people like, to wrap their arms around themselves, or if they have pillows and things,
I
sometimes people like,
kind of grab my hands and
yeah, there
I
could
did
be
this.
yeah, uh,
Yeah.
physical movement. Yeah, good. How's the child experiencing that?
Taking it in, but
Hmm.
still nervous,
Hmm.
but not like before.
Yeah, it's taking a
Feeling,
while because was a
yeah,
pretty deep thing the child had to go through.
yeah. I think that there's still a little teeny bit of it not trusting that this is
Hmm.
okay now, but
Okay.
but
So,
yeah.
okay. So coming back,
Hmm.
I'm going to have you come back down into your body. Just say we're going
Yeah.
to complete the process, this part of the process. So when there's messages, there's two places that are generally good to receive the messages. One is, as we often do, is from the soul part messages, right? And the other part is what can be called your spiritual adult self, the mature
Hmm.
Margaret,
Okay.
as a mature person, differentiated from that child. What would you say to the child as a follow-up to her?
I think I would just try to be reassuring that she's safe. Um, I hear myself saying, "I'm here with you. Um, you're not alone." That sort of, you know,
Hmm.
stating sort of the obvious, but
Hmm. How's the child receiving that message?
well, she's sitting in my lap
Hmm.
and leaning against me, still like she had, I actually think she'd been crying. Um, but I just feel her sitting here, like with her head, just sort of her
Hmm.
whole body weight, sort of just
Uh-huh.
really melting into me,
Yeah.
and so I think by the body language, I would say she's feeling comforted. Hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, I think she feels comforted. I feel as though I'm comforting her.
Okay.
And but I also, as that higher adult, mature person, know that it's deep, it was deep and it needs time.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
it's the deeper it is, the longer it usually will take
Yeah.
to resolve it. Good. So whenever you're ready, you can just say whatever you'd like to the child to conclude before coming back.
Hmm. I'm just reassuring her that I'm here. I actually said I've got you. So,
Okay, that's
yeah.
great. Knowing that you have your child, that you can help the child feel more secure and nurture it and hold it
Mhm.
and feel that she's there with you in the world as a mature person and a soul embodied person to be there with her to help her. Okay. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes, feeling that sense of security and alignment and lightness continuing to permeate your whole body with the right energy.
Yeah. Hmm. Wow, that's very interesting. I actually feel a little bit more disassociated.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's maybe being in the spiritual side. No, it's interesting.
Yeah, well, you're coming back was pretty deep, so you want to do
Yeah.
some grounding right now, just to
Yeah.
either drink water, feel your feet on the floor, uh, notice some things in the room. Does it take, that was a deep experience. The polarities often are pretty deep. They can go into some real unconscious places.
I mean, when I was coming back, I envisioned that, you know, energy going through me and grounding. I mean, I'm doing that right now, so I'm definitely working on grounding.
Good.
You know, I
Yeah.
think give it a little bit of time and see what happens.
Yeah, we want to give it a little time. So, Pauline, what do you think we would do as a follow-up at this point?
Well, for Margaret to be aware of the feelings that develop from this, the consciousness that comes from this,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, it's like a new world in a way, and little new worlds open up, and I think of like the child, and the motherliness that is maybe I don't know, Margaret, how that feels to you, that word, the motherliness, because the energy.
Yeah. It's I
Um,
didn't feel that though. I didn't-
Yeah, she didn't say the word motherly. So
yeah.
to introduce something, you can ask her about it.
mm,
If you're having a strong intuition, you might ask her like you could. But
mm,
if a person doesn't bring it up, I would be cautious to just bring it in. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it's not what came up. Um, but what's one thing we want to follow up with that we started with though?
with regard to
We started the process with what?
when we put a number to it.
Yeah.
You know,
So her symptoms. So
mm,
because she said she had some health problems, right?
right, yes. So where has
Hmm.
that changed at all
Yeah.
since doing this
Well,
practice?
You
yeah.
get and the two areas.
Yeah, in the two areas, yeah.
The numbness, I would say, I think it's improved. I
Hmm.
think it's like
Reduced.
yeah, I think it's like a 2,
Okay,
maybe.
so it was 4. Okay. And then the disassociation, where is
That
that?
is still, that's what I meant by when I came back, I felt more disassociated. I would say that's a 6 right now. So,
So that's up. Okay.
yeah, so something
Mm,
about the experience
mm,
Hmm.
made me feel more. And it could have just been sitting with my eyes closed, Philip. So that's why I'm thinking like maybe if we want to check back on that in a little bit, you know?
Yeah, that could be changing. Why don't we just come back to that? Because I mean, that was a very deep process. in itself,
Yeah.
and you discovered, I don't know how much you were aware of that energy beforehand, or at least
I wasn't, I was really shocked at how
yeah.
much
So
when I
that's the
turned,
thing when you discover some like this deep energy that's affecting you actually daily, and suddenly you're there, and you're it obviously has been buried, uh, who
yeah,
knows, for a lifetime or lifetimes, whatever, and so
yeah,
that's a lot to begin to process, but you did a good job.
I know I need more. But I mean, just being aware of how powerful it was pretty
Okay.
intense.
Why don't we do just what we call continuous tapping, where you're just tapping
Yeah.
all the EFT pressure points? That's very nice for balancing. And you can tap just continuous tapping, ending with the reset process, just to kind of get you back in your body a little more grounded.
And I'm focusing on grounding while I do it too, so,
Good. Yeah, if there's a color or a
yeah.
image or was that music grounding to you?
No,
That was more of a healing thing. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So whatever's grounding to you, sounds, images, colors.
I'm envisioning the energy coming out of my spine, going into the earth.
Yeah, there was the future energy, which was very strong.
Yeah. I can.
And the
Definitely.
reset process where you tap the top of the head.
Yeah, I ended with that, and I even
Okay.
said the miracles are happening now in my mind.
Okay. Okay. You're one step ahead. Good. Mm-hmm.
It's definitely making, it's bringing a calming effect.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
what usually happens. Very good. Yeah,
yeah,
that's perfect.
yeah, I'm feeling more settled,
Yeah.
after just that, almost the second round now.
Yeah. The deeper someone goes, the more time it takes them to come back, just generally speaking, in any process as a rule.
Yeah, I know my reality can shift and miracles are happening now, and that seemed to help too. I'm
So,
feeling more,
okay, good.
more present.
How's the grounding number now?
I think I might be at 3,
Okay, so that's lower than it
coming
began.
down. Yeah,
Yeah, and it'll probably continue to come down. Okay,
yeah, thank you.
you bet.
Wow,
Yeah.
some stuff to think about.
Yeah, so what
Hmm.
would be some follow-up suggestions that we could discuss, Pauline, that came up in that process that she mentioned?
But well, to me, it's just, what might you feel? What might you see?
Uh-huh.
I
And
mean,
she remember she had a couple things that came to her. Do you remember?
what with regard to the music, you mean? Or
Right. Mm-hmm.
right, yeah. Um, be very aware, because you went so deeply, and
So the idea is the bridge, she had that in the process. So now we're coaching her. So the question is, how does that play out now tomorrow? How does she,
maybe.
so what would you discuss with her? What would you ask her now?
Well, I might say, any sort of write down any feelings or thoughts or changes in you from this process. Keep a journal.
Journaling could be good. How
Um,
about the music? What's the question you're going to ask her about the music?
yeah. Is there any specific? I mean, I can think of some music. I'm gonna maybe later on.
Well, the way here's sort of the idea of doing that. Like, see what she does. If she's saying I'm not really sure what music, then if you've got some suggestions, you could say here's a couple if you're interested. But let's go to her first, see what she says.
Yeah, I do have some music in mind.
I think
Music
I,
medicine.
I think I think I'm probably gonna dig out some choir music
Hmm.
and possibly even go for Christmas choir music, like Messiah or,
Hmm.
something that is,
Wow.
yeah, powerful.
Handle
Yeah,
those
Hannah
big
Messiah.
booming ones.
Yeah,
Mm.
very powerful.
Messiah.
Even though the music that I heard was not really like, um, loud, but it was very emotional.
Okay.
Mm.
So
So
that's part A of the question. What's part B, Pauline? What do we need to know? What would possibly help her more about that music?
Creating a time to listen to it,
Exactly.
on a
yeah,
regular basis. Yeah,
like
to
tomorrow.
train it more into your consciousness.
Yeah,
Mm.
I will do that tomorrow. Definitely.
Mm.
I will find that tomorrow. I feel very strongly that I should do that.
Is
Mm.
that would that be a good regular habit for now until,
Yeah.
or
And
just start tomorrow or see where it
Yeah,
goes?
that's a good question.
commitment
So
to it.
I
Right.
think
Good,
that,
Pauline.
Yeah.
what was that, Pauline?
Have a commitment,
Good.
Yeah,
Would
around
that
it.
be a good idea?
Yeah. Yeah, would that be a
If
good
she's
idea?
ready for that.
yeah.
If it
I
feels
think what I
right.
need to do is listen to the music and find out how much I can listen to it.
Right. Yeah.
You
And
know?
that's I mean, you might have 1 minute, you might have an hour, it could be
Mm.
Yeah.
throughout the day. What,
Yeah, and it might be just tomorrow, or I have a sense it will be more than just tomorrow, though.
yeah, but that's the starting place.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting.
Is there anything else on a physical level that you feel that might help you, support you on this, new journey in a way?
On a physical level.
Mm. Help
Or
you
Well,
to
I mean,
or practice.
yeah,
to-
I do plan on meditating on this tomorrow
Right.
to check in again and see if this has shifted more. If I do I need to go back to the mountaintop and or go back to shifting to the future and bringing in that light? Do I need my paintbrush back? I think I'll check in on all of that tomorrow to see where this is going, because there's still a little bit of it left. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
very much aware of it. And
Yeah.
and I am feeling that the child itself is changing,
Yes.
so like becoming more mature as
Mhm.
the process is happening. So I think I'll check in with that too.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be what was the other thing, checking in with the child,
Yeah.
how regularly tomorrow, or if, in some kind of regular basis for now,
Yeah,
or
do I need to do this? I mean, maybe I need to do this for a little while. And the way I would approach it, I think, is going to be, I'm going to check in. And
Yeah.
if it isn't complete, I'll ask for guidance on what to do. What process to do to help this complete. And then I'll keep doing that until I feel as though this is resolved in a way it's supposed to resolve.
Mhm.
And that might mean like listening to music and, like I said, checking in and feeling where I'm at and seeing if I need any of these tools to help move things along.
Would doing some painting, do you think would?
It might,
Yeah.
if that reveals itself to me, I will, definitely. Yeah. I mean, because I had the paintbrush, I still have the paintbrush. So,
Right.
just blurring all the lines there and everything.
Yeah.
It's like watercolor blur. It's like I just took water and so.
Magical paintbrush, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very great brush. Okay.
So
Thank you.
that was very powerful.
Yeah.
Now think about where we started. We have an ongoing health issue that's based on disassociation and numbness.
Yeah.
And what did we
And
discover?
But very interesting that something to do with the past and the future is contributing to this.
In your future, you have a lot of things good going forward, but you have this heavy
Yeah, and it's
insecurity
ancestral.
being dragged that now you're integrating and lightening. Now, first of all, you know what it is to,
Yeah.
maybe enough sufficiently. And then
Mm.
maybe just even if you want to go further to help your ancestral line there, whatever that break was.
And I know that that's part of what I'm supposed to be doing and working on. So
Mhm.
it's I anticipate continuing to do that, to go into it deeper.
Yeah. as
Yeah,
you send love to that part of yourself and integrate it, you can help that family that had to leave that child there in a cave, and whatever
yeah,
the trauma going around surrounding that.
yeah. I feel like there's a bigger story there for me
Yeah.
to possibly work through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Lot of like there's a lot of emotions that are just sort of hovering
Mm-hmm.
on I can see it kind of clearly that there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of layers to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This stuff
Very
is
good.
so amazing to me because I really had no concept of that
Yeah.
in
That was
there.
powerful. Yeah, that was an extremely powerful process.
Yeah. I mean, just the extreme physical sensation I had when I turned into
Right.
the past was just
That's a real
really,
verification of the depth
yeah,
of it and how genuinely it's affecting you.
it's so deep. Wow.
And
But
the miracle of timing too.
I believe that too,
No,
Pauline. I
I
think
mean,
nothing happens by accident.
way more.
Yeah, yeah. Mm,
Mm.
wow. Hmm. Now where do we go?
yeah. Well, we can do a second round if you guys are up to it. And I don't know if Margaret, you're in what position you are in terms of helping, Pauline or whatever. If you're, you may or may not be in that place now. I don't know.
I'm not sure if I am, to be honest,
You
Philip.
might not, because that was pretty powerful. And
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
so Pauline, I'm wondering if you have any questions or anything you want to do, or we could just do another one with you. I mean, I could lead that with Margaret kind of being
Mm.
coming in and assisting. Um,
Yeah, well, my things I think tend to be kind of a bit, go on the deep side too. But looking at all these, could
yes.
you muscle test me
Yeah,
or not?
which one is up? Okay. So
Yeah.
first of all, I'll just ask the same question
Mm.
I asked Margaret. Is there something that, that is affecting you now that you might want more insight on? If there is, just there may or may not be, but
Well, everything speaks to me to a certain extent.
not so much the polarities, but a specific issue, and then we'll go into the
Mm.
polarities. Is there anything you want to look at before we
But,
look at
yeah.
polarity?
Well, last on Wednesday with Jane, something in the discussion there did come up,
Yes.
and it was like my role. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I had difficulty even writing it down because my role as a soul and my role as a human being in this lifetime, is there some confusion?
Okay. Well, the Michael Overleafs is the role is sort of the way your soul expresses itself in this human existence. It's like predominant way, it's familiar way, it's pattern, it's a characteristic way. So again, those 7 roles: server, priest, and these are just different ways to divide up the pie. Server, priest, artisan, sage, warrior, king, and scholar. And there's a main role with a secondary role. It's just the way you comfortably express your way of being. You're more comfortable being one of those than the
Right.
other ones.
I think it was like putting a role, that kind of role, to the role of the soul. Maybe in some, in my mind or whatever, I just sort of see it like energy, I guess, loving energy and angels and things. And then suddenly seeing it in these, terms, names, and also
Yeah,
for
it's just
myself.
one way of describing it.
Uh,
But are you saying, Philip, if I'm just asking for clarity here, that the soul itself, I think the way Pauline's seeing her soul, I think this is what I understand. Say if I'm wrong. I think
Mm.
Pauline's saying that she sees her soul one way and what her human life is another. And she seems to be trying to put a role onto the soul. And I
Yeah,
don't know
in the spiritual
that.
realm, that might
Mhm.
might be, at that level, it might be hard to define the way we would like. You have, and I don't know if you probably are a scholar because you're very scholarly, and you might be a scholar. Is that what you think? You are a scholar?
Yeah, I love learning. I'm
Yeah,
a
you're a
lifelong
big
learner,
researcher. Yeah. Yeah.
research.
Yeah. So that's such, and there'd be a secondary role, things that you all, is there another one that you gravitate to? Server or uh
Sage,
artist?
but not quite the same interpretation, I think, as the sage.
No, it wouldn't be sage. Sage is very external and showy.
Mm.
Um, it could be artisan if do you
Yes,
do a lot of,
artisan.
creative projects?
My writing is
You
Yeah.
do writing?
expressed through my writing, and
Yeah,
yeah.
there might be that. So
Mm.
anyways, but so the scholar might be the first one, and you might be intellectually centered. We're going to talk about the centers of gravity next week.
Just
So
the
go ahead.
soul and these, a scholar and the labels in a way.
Yeah.
Um, um, yeah, I get
The
it's
soul, I think,
kind of confusion,
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to get too lost in labels. These are just helpful ways. As I've said before, you know, if you're a woman, that's one way of describing you. You know, it's not everything, but it describes a lot about you and Margaret. I'm a man, that describes a lot about me. It's not everything. I don't look at everything like I'm a man. Oh, this means I'm a man, but it does have an overriding clear uh, distinction in my life, in your life, your gender through from beginning to end. So it's just a way of understanding a lot of things uh, at one time. Puts a lot of things together, not everything, and you don't want to get so lost in the definition that you try to put everything in it and get very intellectual. And that's, if you're intellectually centered, that could be something you have to be aware of, especially because intellectually centered people try to figure things out too much with their mind and intellect, and they have good intellects, but it has a limit. But going back to the polarities, was there something that's an idea, which that's a pretty scholarly point to bring up, speaking of your role. Was there something that was bothering you about something?
There's just I think there's a little disconnect somewhere.
A
And
disconnect
yeah,
about
and I think it's energetic, maybe. Because like
disconnect regarding what though? What are you referring to?
again, energy, the energy of the higher realms of the soul and the energy in
Okay.
the form.
Okay, I think that's enough to just start with our polarity list and see
Mm.
where the disconnect might come from. Would you like to do that, Pauline?
Yeah, I think there was
And
that.
so, Margaret, I'll kind of enlist you to a certain amount. Is that okay, or are
yeah,
you
yeah,
still?
if I feel like I can't contribute, I'll let you know, but
Yeah,
otherwise
I'll kind of just tag team sometimes up here with you. So I'm going to muscle test the lists again.
Can I
The
just say this one thing? I think
Yeah,
where her disconnect might be, I think Pauline is trying to. Oh, it feels almost like she's trying to categorize, for
right.
a lack of a better word, her human existence in the same way that she's looking at the soul.
Yeah.
And that's the disconnect, because the soul is, I don't think the soul can be put into
No.
categories that we can, the
Yeah,
physical existence.
I would agree with that. And like the Michael channelings comes from like he says that he's graduated. There's like I don't know, a certain number, they say 1,000 or 1,700 beings who graduated, and they were all either warriors, or I think warriors or kings that channeled the Michael. So it's kind of a certain kind of grouping. You know, we have affinity, so it's another kind of affinity that we have with other people with the roles. Just like a lot of people. And I'm a tennis player, so I hang out with a lot of other tennis players. I don't hang out with basketball players. I don't have anything against them. It just, I'm a tennis player. So you say, okay, if you're a musician, you hang out with other musicians. If you
Yeah.
play, if you're a choir, you hang out with people in the choir. If you play the blues, you hang out with blues people. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's pick one, and uh anyone popping up for you, Margaret? Do you want to pick one, or do you want me to muscle test
I
which
think,
one?
yeah, I'll let you do them all. I don't trust my muscles.
Okay, so for this disconnect for Pauline, is it masculine, feminine? No. Spiritual, earthly? Okay. So a spiritual, earthly. So, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So the spiritual part of you is the part that focuses on spirituality. The earthly part is the part that focuses on material physical existence. So the spiritual part is not your soul itself, it's just the part of your life, your personality that is very aware of spiritual matter. Comprende? Does that make enough sense? Because there is a distinction here. Okay. All right.
I'm learning about that. Yeah, you're telling
Okay.
me
So
about
just
Mm.
we'll relax and look for the disconnect and see how these different parts, your spiritual and earthly, view your life, and then what your soul perceives it to be understanding. Okay.
that. Right. Thank you.
So you can close your eyes and relax, Pauline, and just let yourself become more and more relaxed in your entire body.
Mhm.
Very good, Pauline. As you relax, you can turn to one side, which is your spiritual side that focuses on spiritual matters. Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
The spiritual part of your nature.
Yeah.
Okay. So the spiritual part, what's it perceiving? What are you picking up that the spiritual part is aware of? How is it viewing things?
Well, straight away, I just see this huge angel.
Uh-huh.
Very, very big angel in white.
Okay. So
Mm.
the spiritual part is connecting to an angel. Okay.
Mhm.
And what is there any communication or messages from the angel or from the spiritual part viewing that angel?
No, its presence is very big.
Yes.
Yeah, everything.
How's the spiritual part responding to the angel?
Well, it's home, kind of thing.
Feels home. Okay.
Right.
All
Yeah,
right.
peaceful.
Yeah. So we talked about owned and disowned parts, two of the parts that are more prominent. So that's the more owned, prominent part. Like Margaret had, the future was prominent. So switching to the other side, Pauline, going to the material, just going back to the physical, earthly, the part how you view being on Earth, and the part that's focusing on the Earth and material existence, what's that picking up? What's that like?
Well, I don't know whether it's because the sun's not coming into the room or not, but it's maybe on this side, but there's no light. And yet in this darkness, kind of semi-darkness, there is a movement of energy. It's alive. Yeah.
And what's that like?
Well, it's alive. It's living.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a dead.
Yeah. How does it feel?
Well, the energy is strong.
Okay.
Mm. The energy is strong,
Okay. Okay.
and I sense that this energy has memories with it.
Okay. Any
Mm.
particular memories coming forward or anything
Just my
standing
life.
out?
Well,
What's that?
it's just my history, maybe my life, my
Yeah.
history
Mhm.
is in that kind of movement.
Okay. So you
Right.
have your memories. That makes sense. Okay. So then switching to the middle,
Mm.
so your soulful part, and it might be the mystical mountaintop or the perfect place that you like to connect with your soulful awareness, bringing in that beautiful tenderness and courage and aliveness into your being like you have before.
Mm.
The perfect energy, the balance, the expansion for you and your soulful awareness, right?
Yeah.
So let me
Um,
know when you're feeling connected to your soulful awareness.
well, I'm up there. Um, I'm up there in a sacred, in the mystical mountain top.
Yes.
And I always have this little room seems to come up with it. It's an open room. You might Akashic record,
Okay.
you might call it, and the book is there and everything. And it's
That's
almost
nice.
like, I don't want to see yet what's written on there, kind of thing. I want to spend a little bit more time up here in the mystical
Yeah.
realm.
So is there anything that it's helping you make your connections and balancing things and feeling aligned? Any suggestions? Margaret, anything you can
Mm.
ask too if you'd want to pose
Well,
a
I find it
question?
interesting that she doesn't want to look at the book
Yeah.
Not,
and see what
not
the
quite
message
yet.
is.
Something has to be done. And I'm feeling that it's my backbone. I'm feeling my backbone. And you see, the backbone has two sides to it. The left side and the right side of that backbone.
Is there a difference between those two sides?
Yeah, there is kind of energetic heaviness on the right side. And then the left side is kind of, my shoulder was held up, but I've let it go now, I've released it. So there is an imbalance in that state in my back.
Hmm.
Mm. Mm.
Is there anything that you feel about that, or a message that you're getting about why that side is heavy?
It's where the masculine and the feminine are not in balance. That's creating that. And yeah, so that the spiritual part is on the left side and the masculine part, the other part is on the right side. And just kind of, there's a whole thing opening up, maybe really, to that. It's like a book. Yeah, that's like, the book, the pages of a book.
Hmm.
Mm.
So now you're in your soul part here. So what does your soul have to say about this?
It's been waiting. It's been waiting
What's been waiting?
for me to reach this point.
What's been waiting for you to reach this point?
This understanding of who I am, of the wholeness of who I am. It's not just one side, the spiritual or the physical. It's a joining together of both.
Oh, your soul has been waiting for you to bring the
Yeah, my
joining
soul has been
together.
waiting for me. It's been the purpose of this lifetime. It's been waiting for me, been looking at me, maybe looking after me through, the things that have happened to me. And it's kind of like that backbone is, all these words are coming to me, and, I use words a lot. It's like a golden, in a book, what's it called?
Binding, the
Binding.
spine of the book.
A binding. This is a very special book. It's the book that is up in that room. I can shivery now. It's up in my little Akashic record room, that book. And I've opened it. I've been up there a number of times, in this training. And one word, funny enough, is saying, like Margaret, hallelujah.
Hmm.
And gold is around, and but it is they've been very quite separate, these sides.
But how are they now?
Well, what will bring them together is that binding, that golden binding, because they've helped me to be here in form, but in a spiritual dimension too. But it's been quite separate. So I've lived fully in one, and I've also lived fully to a certain extent in the other. It's been very stressful. A lot of energy used up.
But what you're experiencing now is the combination of those two sides in the golden binding.
Right. And in a lighter experience. It doesn't have to be so heavy, because it's natural. We are both the spiritual and the physical.
Is there anything else that you would like a message or anything else that you're being shown in this place with this gold binding or around it from it?
I see people on this side. Yeah, I see people.
You know what they represent?
Maybe they represent people that I may be working with.
Mm. Okay.
Population in a way, you know.
Mm.
And on this side, angel. And I have a guardian angel, and I've never really I've thought about other angels, but I named my guardian angel many, many years ago. I listened to Sonia Ricotto or something, and she said you can name your angel and you can give it an ordinary name or a great name. So I gave it an ordinary name and I call it Beryl.
Barrel.
And, you know, I have a picture of, angel behind me. But somehow, until yesterday, you see, this is timing here. Yesterday, I said, yeah, Beryl's my guardian angel. And I have other, angel, Archangel Michael I work with and stuff. Beryl's there. And I'm kind of embraced Beryl for the first time.
Is this Beryl that's with you now?
Yeah. And she's on the right
Yeah.
side. Yeah. Yeah. And she's always been
Is
with
there
me.
any message coming from Beryl?
It's about time and things like that, you know.
Okay.
Mm. It's
Is there anything else that I'm sorry, what was that, Pauline?
it's a really ordinary name in England, Beryl. But
Yeah, but it's not ordinary to you.
no, I made it,
That's all.
and I haven't been able to embrace it. For some reason, it's been asleep. It's
Mm.
been asleep. And I've had other angels, but it really is my guardian. So it's behind me. It's in that bag. It's in my back.
Is there anything else that you think you would like maybe Beryl to say to you, give you a message, or is there something that a gift, a resource that you could get from Beryl to take back with you?
But I know she's here. Her
Okay.
presence is really here. Yesterday, I understood that. I have a guardian angel,
Mm.
a special angel that takes care of me. I have a picture, a card, with a guardian angel and a child in front, or it's a religious setting. And I have other angels and beings of light. But I printed out a special declaration that was given, listening to this talk, and Beryl is on that. I have to dig it out from somewhere. Yeah.
Do you think this would be a good time to check back in with your spiritual and earthly side to see
Yeah.
how they're doing?
Yes, please. Yeah, it would be.
Okay.
Time.
You pick which one you'd like to start with and let me know. That's the earthly side.
Yes.
Okay. What are you noticing about that now that you've been with Beryl and your soul?
I wouldn't say it's sunlight, but it's changed. There is light. It is lighter than it was. Yeah.
And what about the movement of energy that was there?
Well, there's a happiness I sense, the peacefulness. Yeah, I have my Beryls with me in that. To never leave me.
And what's the quality of energy feel like? Peaceful, did you say?
Yeah, and I think that the energy, the color will change. I see colors, and often this is, I may see a beautiful green later. It's coming. I feel there's a changing in what I'm seeing. Yeah, and the peace, kind of a peacefulness.
What about you were feeling your memories and movement in there? And how's that feel now?
But
What's that experience like?
yeah, it's a lightening there, a lifting, and a letting go.
Do you know what you're letting go of?
I'm letting go of energy that's been heavy. It's been to protect me, but it's been very heavy.
Mm.
You
How does
know,
that feel?
yeah, that's, no, I'm happy about that. I'm grateful about that. I'm feeling love.
Feeling what?
I'm feeling love, you know.
Feeling loved. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Who are you feeling that from?
It's just, it's in me, around me.
Okay.
And I had that little silver thing, little dot silver thing that appeared. You know, that's, yeah.
What's the silver thing that
It,
appeared?
it's telling me, you know, I'm on track.
Ah,
I'm not alone, you know, I'm being seen. Yeah, I'm being seen, acknowledged. I'm carrying a lot of stuff, as we all are.
mm,
And that it's coming, it'll become lighter. Yeah, it's coming lighter. May become, you know, these brilliant colors that I do see. But it's on the way. It's on the
mm.
way. So I should move now.
Would you like to check in with your spiritual side and see how it? Yeah. You're doing it already. You go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what are you noticing there?
Um, it's more of a matching of this color, okay? Before it was very, it's yeah, a matching or maybe a balancing could be. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's gold in this side, and it's maybe the energies are combining more on
Nice.
both sides because I
Okay.
don't want to be separate. You know, I want to, you know, I love the spiritual side, and I also love this other side of me. You know, so to have them together, that's wonderful,
Mm.
and it feels right. You know, it's nature in a way. Mm.
And is
And I
there
don't,
anybody there with you?
sorry.
Is there anyone there with you?
Okay.
There was a big angel last time you were there.
Yes, that angel is out there. Um, it's out there. You see, it's it belongs to that mystical mountain.
Mm.
It's there, and it will always be there. You know. But now that I'm on Earth, I think Philip said something about the soul and then the spiritual self. Um,
Yeah, they're three separate.
right, and I'm very close to the angel, the spiritual side. Very, very close to that. It's so deep in me, and yet I'm in form. And I came here to be in form and do my work. So it's a presence. It'll always be out there. And I'm getting to hear sounds because I, you know, often hear sounds. And so that's telling me I'm being heard. It's so important that I'm heard.
Mm. So that's twice you've said that phrase now. Once when you were on the earthly side after bringing in the soul, and now when you're
Yeah,
back on the spiritual side.
yeah. I got to be heard. I can't live in a gap between either, which I have tried to do, you know, to make peace with both. um, yeah, I'm heard. Now I know I'm heard. Thank you.
Does
Mm,
that feel like
mm.
sort of the big lesson for you here or a big message for you that you're being heard?
Yes, it's not a separate herd, okay? It's more of a joint.
Mm.
And so that I'm here and I was there, but I'm really kind of in together.
So you've just shifted back to the center, maybe instinctively, so you're back sort of
Right.
shifting back into your soul.
Mm.
So how does your soul, how do you feel now with this experience of these two sides being more joined?
I think I feel more grounded, and because the soul is so very big, you know, and yet
What
it's
can the soul do to come down to be not so big and bring for you a message, some way of you know, the big message that you'd like to take away from this meeting of these two sides?
for things like little things that, you know, it's all right, Pauline. You know, you're safe, and we love you up here.
How about down there? Do they love you down there when you're on Earth too?
We always love you.
That's beautiful. We always love you.
And we're always, you know, with you. We're watching you all the time, and we know what's going on. And you know, you get messages. We send you messages, and you constantly, you know, talking these messages. So believe them. 100% believe them.
That's nice.
No
Is there
doubting
something that you
those
can,
voices. No doubting them.
is there something that you can take from this experience that will be sort of a touchstone for you so that you can remember these messages and to believe them? And
Well, I love messages. You know, I'm constantly seeing messages on people's T-shirts and and in internet, and I write them down. 'Cause words are so all powerful for me. And what I saw from up there was like a little, you know, monitor, and there's writing on that monitor, and it's saying, you know, read those words. Yeah, do what you're doing. Read those words because you feel them. You are comforted by them. You are strengthened by them. They have a purpose for you. Words, you know.
words are your tool. So maybe words are the writing, and that would be the thing that will be the gift to bring back.
Yeah, words are your gift. Words are your gift. You love words. You're writing every day. They're your gift. Love them. Be grateful for them. Use them to help others. All that kind of thing is coming down.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like we've come to a place that this is sort of the end of this little journey and you're ready to come back?
Yeah, and what I see, Margaret, are those wings that you painted. And then the wings, okay? Both sides as well. It's beautiful.
That's beautiful, Pauline.
Heart in the middle.
Why don't you take a nice deep breath and imagine yourself coming back down from that mystical mountaintop. Maybe you're flying back down with those wings. And imagining that you're coming down the mountain and sitting, feeling the surface that you're sitting on, your feet grounded on the floor and planted, maybe some energy running down into the earth. And when you're comfortable, and feel yourself present again, you can open your eyes.
Knowing that you are heard.
Knowing that you are heard and that Beryl is with you always.
And you have the power of words at your disposal.
And those wings, okay, they're out, but they're also enclosed too.
Yeah, like Like holding you, you
That's
mean?
right. They close.
Is that, are those
Around-
barrels wings?
They could be Verrill's wings to think about that. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm. Mm. So
Wow.
thank you
So
so much. I'm so grateful.
let me
I-
ask you this, Pauline, how do you feel about this disconnect that you had
Mm. The spirit and the
and the earthly, the soul, what you were thinking of as the soul and the earthly?
yeah. I think I accept, that there is the soul. It's like three, the spiritual and the physical, and the soul is overreaching it all.
Yeah.
And I think I accept that. Yeah, that's how it is. And the soul is the greater light, because it's the overseer of everything, I guess, source. I don't know how you put it.
It doesn't have to fit in a category, right?
Mhm.
No, it's the quantum. Maybe it may help me to be comfortable with that,
Mm.
because being as the quantum, and I can also the spiritual side on earth, and be in the grounded part
Yeah.
with nature.
Mhm.
And have that book, with
About
I
to bring
see
up the
that
book.
with the golden, the binding of that book.
That might be a resource then, to envision the golden binding
Yeah.
at the place where your spiritual and earthly sides are meeting, and it's it's very solid, right? A gold binding, that's pretty and
Right.
precious and very
Yeah.
precious.
And in physical, it's the spine too.
Mhm.
A
The spine
wonderful
binding,
pathway.
Line of the book, right?
a
Exactly.
golden spine.
Spine of the
binding.
book. Yeah, the golden spine. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gosh.
Yeah, that was very beautiful. Thank you, Margaret. Great job. I'm glad you
I thank you,
came in
Philip.
there.
Thank you, Philip. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
that
do-
was well done.
Mm.
So you were heard by your soul and the angel Beryl.
Yes. Yes,
So just to make some connections here in the overleaves,
mm.
if you'll have to verify, but if you are indeed a scholar role, and you are, we'll talk about center of gravity, you're intellectually centered, so you have a strong mental preference to things. And also, I would add, again, you have to verify this. It just occurred to me that one of the attitudes is a spiritualist having a very predominant spiritual framework. I mean, there are other frameworks like skeptic and realist and
Mm.
cynic, and there's several stoic. There's 7 attitudes, which is a very important feature of your being. So all of that sort of, if you come into this incarnation with some of those things, which may be every incarnation, like a scholar, and some of them you might adopt for this role, like being intellectually centered and being a spiritualist. If that is indeed accurate, I just put that out there as something to consider.
Thank you for
That would make sense with what you said, that
Yeah.
words are your tools, your purpose. You love words. You're very good at words. You express yourself well.
Yeah.
It's interesting because a spiritual friend has passed on about 10 years ago who worked with me. She did multiple tongues. She worked with multiple tongues. She told me that she thought I was a scientist
Uh-huh.
in a past life. And that's kind of interesting. So I left school so
Mhm.
very early, I left my choice. And
But you
so-
would never, you don't come off that way though, Pauline.
but
Absolutely. Come across as, a deep thinker and
yeah, I love to think. And yeah,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
sounds a
So
thinker.
that puts a lot together. So very good. That was another very profound journey. Excellent job, both of you.
yeah,
And as we're getting close to closing, just circling back to Margaret, how are you doing there, just with your
I'm
condition?
feeling, well, geez, the numbness is almost gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that rare? I mean,
Yeah,
these days.
it can sometimes get this good, but usually I'll wake up feeling without the numbness, and then it will come on.
Mhm.
So this is probably not very usual for this time of day.
Yeah. So I
That's-
guess you could, if you have a chance, report to us how you're doing in the day, because that'll
Yeah.
be a indicator.
Yeah, and the disassociation is still somewhat there, but I'm gonna say it's a little bit less than it was, so maybe I'm like a 2.5.
Okay, there's a little bit there. Yeah.
Little bit, yeah, and again, I still have the sense that there's more for me to do.
I can really see and feel that. I mean, if you have that big lost child energy that you're trying to integrate, I mean, that was a big unconscious
Yeah,
weight that you're lifting, and I think that nurturing, like we were talking with you with the music, the choir music, and the healing your child, and the journaling, and whatever the magic painting, it comes up, whatever is presented. I think that might be something of
yeah, I
for you.
keep hearing the word process in my mind.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, you know, there's a process, I keep hearing that, so. And I'm hearing that from what I consider to be my guidance,
Right.
so.
Okay.
Yeah,
And if I may say something, Margaret, to the disassociation, for me, it's interesting because that's lessening, so that means that healing, all the work you're doing is
yeah,
maybe a little by, sort of baby steps or something, but there is a shifting.
Integrating.
yeah,
sense,
you know.
just, just maybe a very,
Yeah.
very, but
Because it's something, if something is taking you away from your life, something is out there that's interfering, you're disassociating, you're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, I think we know where you were going.
Yeah.
I think we know what you need to do to bring it back. It's a process. I mean, you have a good idea, at least a very strong beginning to
Yeah.
recovery there.
Yeah, it's another piece to a big puzzle and I was really not aware of it, so. I like it when I can identify pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So very good. Next week, we go to the centers of gravity, which are a huge part of our everyday existence. Again, that's as important as your role and your attitude and the things we talked about. Just knowing what those are and how they play out, it answers so many questions. Helps you understand other people too quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah. Anything else, Pauline or Margaret today? And
I feel really very special. I feel a big healing has taken place between
yes,
the three,
yes,
soul and my role as a spiritual person and my role as, a coach or whatever in every day. Yeah, and they can both be. That doesn't have to be just one or the other.
right.
And so up there. So there's been a.
You look so much lighter, Pauline.
You do. You look really good.
Yeah, because you were definitely, it was a concern that you had, you could see that.
Oh, yes.
Explain it, and right.